For the children, time had ceased to move the moment their father, after many years of absence, called them to a meeting of reconciliation. You see, they were only children, and they believed Dad's honeyed words. They had to. After all, he was Daddy. It was also the last time they ever saw him. Dad will never call again. Year after year, the children, seemingly awake, lived asleep to life. No matter how much love their mother gave, she could not break the depression that had settled upon them. You could see them walking about, smiling. Yes, they smiled to mask their pain from the rest of the world. But in truth, they were ghosts. Ghosts of their own lives. It was as though they were dead, merely observing, inhabiting a body that both to the eyes of others and to their own had no form, just a blurry mass, especially when they looked into the mirror. And the mirror was cruel. The mirror spoke to their fears and bred so many insecurities that it felt as though their legs had turned to stone, so heavy, so rigid, that they could no longer move forward. Their routine was simple. Wake, eat, sleep, wake, eat, sleep, day after day. They seemed trapped in a script from which there was no escape. And so 18 years passed, 18 years of pain, 18 years of isolation, 18 years of trials. You know how it was. You know what Dad saw through the shoes. But allow me to whisper to you, dear crows, that those same 18 years were also the quiet rise of an inner empire. One invisible to his eyes. What nobody saw was how their tears irrigated the barren ground of their lives, allowing a seed of hope to take root, nurtured by faith year after year. So allow me to correct myself. They would wake, eat, pray, 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 sleep, pray, eat, pray, wake, pray, 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 pray. Yes, good old faith was their key to freeing themselves of the darkest of prisons. It became the light that illuminated their paths. It became their solace, their refuge. Faith was their choice. It was faith, the one that gathered the scattered fragments of their hearts after countless failures and wove them into a beautiful tapestry. Not perfect, but beautiful still. The wastelands of life that Dad drove them through awakened their purpose, their mission. They committed themselves themselves to the idea of good and chose to serve it. You see, by sacrificing their ego, they managed to break their chains. The pact no longer bound them because the part of them that was sacrificed no longer existed. That entity had no authority in the realm of the dead. Do you remember when I said that for Ted, the troubles began in the 18th year? In the 4th that followed, he felt in his own flesh the price of the choices he had made, as so often happens. The more the children healed, the more they loved, the more they gave, the more they served. Even on the darkest days, when serving was neither easy nor comfortable, the more Ted lost, one by one, the things he had gained through the pact. A strange, unnamed illness weakened his body. The pain in his feet was unbearable. At times, even standing was torture, as though he were trapped inside a body that had become his prison. And from that prison, there was no escape. From his bed, he bore witness to his own downfall. Misfortune, they all said. I say karma. He couldn't understand why his life had taken such a turn. After all, he had been assured that the children would never climb out of the pit into which he had casted them. They were doomed, weren't they? From his own experience, he knew that no one overcame life's hardships without getting their hands dirty. And yet, something had changed. What kind of magic was that? He could no longer reach them, no matter how hard he tried. Oh, when he tried. A blinding light barred his way, and it tormented him. He started to experience a new feeling. Mono no aware. Are you familiar with the term? Some people close to him later whispered to me that in his final days he no longer made sense, lost in delirium, speaking to himself, frightened, as though pursued by something no one else could see. Bulgy eyes, shallow breaths, a pitiful sight for a man who for 18 years believed the sun shone for him alone. Life grew so hard that death began to feel like mercy. After all, why fear it if when it arrives we have already departed? So he thought, and death itself heard him. To his great dismay, in the 22nd year, the midpoint of the pact's waking time, on a gloomy February at 66, his heart gave out, and he died alone in his bed. No cats, no dogs, no family, no friends to mourn him. They didn't know he was gone until much later, when his neighbors noticed a foul smell coming from the house. He was buried with his shoes and all. Apparently, no one could remove them without having to cut his feet. So they all agreed the best thing to be done was bury him with them. And so was the end of a generational inheritance and the beginning of a new cycle for the children. You know, the very same one he tried so hard to stop from happening. Well, as Dad himself once said, no one is stronger than fate.